Hello viewer, a very warm welcome to Elimu TV where you watch and learn. I am a teacher, Madam Christine Okot. I'll be taking you through biology form 2. For all your feedbacks, your question, or if you'd like to answer the questions that you're going to have at the end of this lesson, you can feel free to SMS us on the numbers 40007. You can write to us on our Facebook page, which is Elimu TV. You can also write to us. Our Twitter handle is at Elimu_KE. Our first lesson is going to be on transport system. So let us have a review of what we're going to learn in this lesson. We're going to learn how the organ systems are formed. Also, we're going to learn about the transport systems. We're also going to learn of the substances which are transported. And we're also going to learn about the importance of transport system. And finally, I'm going to give you an assignment that you'll do. So we will review it as we start our next lesson. What we call a tissue. So tissues are different cells which have come together to do a specific function in an organism. A collection of tissues will make something we call an organ. So an organ is a collection of tissues which have come together to perform a specific function. An example of organ, we have the heart, we have the liver. So all these are examples of organ. From an organ, we go to an organ system. For example, we have a digestive system, we have the nervous system. All these are made up of different types of organs which have come together to do a specific function. For example, if we take a look at the digestive system, it is made up of various organs. For example, we have the stomach, we have the small intestine, we have the large intestine. So all these are organs which have been summed up to make this organ system. From an organ system, the organ system will make an organism. An organism can either be a plant or an animal. For example, a human being is made up of very many organ systems. For example, in our bodies, we have the digestive system, we have the nervous system, and among other systems which make up an organism. So the basic thing that starts all these things is what we call a cell. An organ system, it's a group of organs that work together to perform a specific function. For example, we have a human circulatory system. It is made up of very many organs. For example, we have the heart, we have the lungs. So they make up this system we call a circulatory system. All living organisms need to move materials. They move materials between themselves and the surrounding environment, that is one. Then they can also move materials within the body of the organism itself. A transport system is a means by which materials are moved from an exchange surface to a cell located through the organism. So by defining a transport system, there has to be an exchange, so whereby there are materials which are moved inside a body or outside a body, or they are moved within the organisms itself. So we can also define a transport system as an act or means of moving molecules or ions across the cell membrane or through the bloodstream. So most of the materials which are moved in human beings or in organisms, mostly we use the blood. So the blood system is the one which tries to circulate. For example, the blood system helps circulate the nutrients, the oxygen levels, and also other kind of nutrients which are needed in the body. Transport deals with how organisms move materials they need. So this material they need either into the organisms or around the organism. For example, plants need oxygen so that it can undergo the process of photosynthesis. So this oxygen is needed in the organism, and there are some excretory products which need to be removed out of the organism. So transport system deals with the transport of materials inside the organism and around the organism. So when you're still looking at the transport system, there are different forms of which these materials are being transported regarding to the different types of organism. We have two types of organism. We have the unicellular organism and the multicellular organism. Looking at the word uni means one. So unicellular organisms, these are organisms that only have a single cell. For example, we have the amoeba, we have the bacteria, and the paramecium. Their transport system is different from the multicellular organism. So what are these multicellular organisms? From the word multi, which means many. So these are organisms which consist of many cells. For example, we have plants and we have animal. So the transport system of these two different organisms are different, and we're going to look at how their transport systems are different. As the size of an organism increases, its surface area to volume ratio will always decrease. So what does this mean? It means that it has a relatively less surface area available for substances to diffuse through. So the rate of diffusion may not be fast enough to meet its cell's requirement. For example, we have a structure of a bacterium. If you look at it, the surface area to volume ratio here is high. So it means that the cell is in position to exchange surface materials inside and outside at a very faster rate, because the distance is so small that diffusion is very rapid and enough for the cell's need. As we compare here to our Mr. Big, Mr. Elephant, it has the surface area to volume ratio is decreasing. So there's no way it's going to use diffusion to transport materials or the exchange of materials inside the body. So it will need an elaborate transport system. That is why multicellular organisms, they need an elaborate transport system compared to the unicellular organisms. Large multicellular organisms, therefore, cannot rely on diffusion alone to supply the cells with substances such as food and oxygen and to remove waste product. So these large multicellular organisms, they require special transport system because of the size and the way, because of the size of their bodies. So they need an elaborate transport system that can help them to take in substances or transfer substances throughout their system. So they need an elaborate transport system compared to the unicellular organisms, which can easily diffuse substances inside and outside. So we're going to look at the substances which are transported within the transport system. So for an example, we have oxygen, which are transported inside organisms. For example, in human being, we need this oxygen for the process of respiration, that is breaking down of materials using oxygen so that it can release energy which can be used by human being for other functions. We also need nutrients in both plants and animal. For example, the carbohydrates, they are used for to supply energy. The proteins are needed for the body for growth. The vitamins, all those nutrients are needed in the body. So they need to be circulated. So they need to be transported in our bodies. Also, another substance which is transported within the living things is water. Water is needed in human beings. It's also needed in plant because it's a raw product of the process of photosynthesis. Mineral salts are needed by the plants as well as the animals in their systems. Also, heat needs to be circulated in the living things. And finally, we circulate vitamins. They need to be transported to all parts of the body. Then, the substances that need to be eliminated by living things. Why do they need to be eliminated? Some of them are toxic and some of them, they do not have any use in the system. So they need to be eliminated. An example, we have carbon dioxide and we have nitrogenous waste. In the process of, for example, in the kidneys, they use this process so that they can get rid of the uric acid, which is not needed by human beings because a lot of it is very toxic to the body and it's not needed. It's of no use in the body. So it needs to be eliminated. That's why we need an elaborate transport system to eliminate the things that we do not need in our body or things that may cause harm in our body. So we're going to look at importance of transport system. Why are these systems very important in our bodies, in plants and in animals? So the first importance of transport system, they transport respiratory gases, that is carbon dioxide and oxygen in animals. We all need to take in oxygen because it's used for the process of respiration inside the body, and we need to take out carbon dioxide, which is not needed by the body. So a transport system ensures that there is a lot of intake of oxygen and there's a lot of, we remove the carbon dioxide. Another importance of transport in plants, it's the fact that the plants are in position to transport the substances which are needed for the process of photosynthesis, that is carbon dioxide and water. So the transport system ensures that the water is transported from the roots up to the place where it is needed, which is the leaves. Then it also ensures that the byproduct, which is not necessary in the plant, it is eliminated, which is carbon dioxide. Another importance of transport system, it transports nutrients to all parts of the organism, especially where they are needed for storage. So after the ingestion or the taking in of these various food products, the nutrients which is got from the food, it will be of no use if it's just in the stomach. So it has to be transported to all parts of the body. So the transport system ensures that all these nutrients are transported to the specific parts of the body where they are needed. It ensures that the nutrients which are in the plants are transported to all parts of the plant. For example, we have so many nutrients which are dissolved in the waters in the roots. So a transport system will ensure that all these nutrients are transported. In this case, we use the phloem tissues, which are responsible for transporting the mineral salts in all parts of the body. We also have the vessel we call the xylem, which is responsible for transporting the water from the roots up to the leaves. Another importance of transport system, the waste product. Some metabolic products are very toxic, so they have to be eliminated out of the body. So the transport system is useful for eliminating of this waste product which are not needed by the body. For example, in human beings, the urea, the uric acid, so it is needed to be eliminated from the body because too much of it is very toxic to the organism. Another importance of transport system, the transport system ensures that heat is transported throughout the body. So the body needs a transport system to circulate this heat equally to all parts of the body, because there are some organisms which cannot accommodate so much heat in the body. So it needs to be circulated, especially when it is the hot days or the temperatures are very high. To sum up the lesson, I'd like to share a video so that it can summarize this topic of our subtopic today of the transport system. So this is transport in plants. So as we have discussed later, so this is transport system, just summarizing how the transport system works and the importance. So the plants need sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. The chlorophyll leaves. The plants also require raw materials like the soil, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and other minerals to build their bodies. The plants absorb raw materials from the soil with the help of roots, which are in contact with the soil. If distance between the soil, root, and chlorophyll is small, the energy needed is less, and raw materials can be easily diffused into all parts of the plant. If the distance between the soil, root, and chlorophyll is large, it needs much energy, and raw materials can diffuse easily. So in such cases, a proper system of transport is essential. So an example, it's like in the tall trees. The energy requirement for transport also varies according to the plant structure. As plants do not move and plants' body have large dead cells in many tissues, as a result, plants have low energy needs and use slow transport system. In cases of tall plants, distance over transport system is very large. So why do plants need a transport system? Plants need water, mineral salts, and raw materials for the process of photosynthesis in order to survive. The water and mineral salts from the soil is transported into plants through the roots. This can only be transported through the water-carrying tubes in the stem, which are known as the xylem vessels. Products of photosynthesis prepared in the leaves are to be transported to other parts of the plants. So this can only be transported by the food-carrying tubes, which are known as the phloem tissues. The xylem tissue vessel and the tracheids are the two types of transport systems in plants. Both vessels are tracheid consist of thick cell walls. So that video has just been to summarize the transport system, why the plants need a transport system. So to end up our lesson, I'm going to leave you with an assignment. So the assignment will be, which blood vessel is used to transport heat all over the body? And the second assignment will be, why do large organisms need a transport system? So you need to explain what is the reason why the large organisms need a transport system. So thank you very much for staying tuned. I have been your teacher, Madam Christine Okot, and keep it Elimu TV. Thank you.